If you're talking about the team you want to watch the most in the NBA this year, is it the Sixers?
Oh, no question. No question. You got a pissed off Jaylen Brown, and you got LeBron who's trying to finish up. And I'll tell you this, man, if he could win a championship in Philadelphia, it'll be amazing. It would be an amazing way to finish his career.
LeBron James moving to Philly shocked Charles Barkley as it did the rest of us. But his perspective on how this changes things is very unique from what most people think. For years, Charles Barkley has been one of LeBron James's toughest critics. He's questioned the way he builds his teams and pushed back against the GOAT debate. But this time around, he's ready to rearrange his GOAT rankings depending on how the 76ers season goes. Plus, he explains why this blockbuster signing could create one of the biggest problems in the NBA. But first, he hates LeBron for ruining his golf practice.
I literally hate LeBron so much today. I was supposed to play golf today. I play golf every day. I was supposed to play golf today, and then all hell broke loose, and I've been Zooming for like the last 4 to 5 hours.
Within those 4 to 5 hours of Zoom calls, Sir Charles went from being pissed off to shock, then congratulating Philly for basically pulling off a heist.
Shock. Because I wanted him to go back to Cleveland. I mean, he has no affiliation with the 76ers. He has no affiliation with the Warriors. I think the Sixers have had one of the greatest months. They've definitely had the greatest month in 76ers history. It's probably been arguably one of the greatest months in sports, in Philadelphia sports.
To understand that, you need to look at where the 76ers were just a few months earlier. Philadelphia had finished the regular season with a respectable 45 wins before surviving a tough first-round series against Boston. Any momentum they built disappeared in the next round, though, when the Knicks swept them out of the playoffs and exposed nearly every weakness on the roster. The offense relied heavily on Tyrese Maxey to create shots, while the defense looked completely different depending on whether Joel Embiid was healthy enough to play. Paul George never found any rhythm after missing significant time himself, and injuries constantly forced the Sixers to reshuffle their lineup. And even when the stars were available, they rarely stayed healthy together long enough to build consistency. Then, everything changed. Philadelphia first pulled off one of the biggest trades of the offseason, bringing in Jaylen Brown to replace Paul George. Out of nowhere, the Celtics had gifted them one of the league's best two-way wings. Someone capable of scoring, defending multiple positions, and taking pressure off both Maxey and Embiid. As if that wasn't enough, they got King James too. And in a matter of weeks, the Sixers had gone from a team with serious questions to one featuring Tyrese Maxey, Jaylen Brown, LeBron James, and Joel Embiid in the same starting lineup. At that, Sir Charles couldn't hide his excitement.
The 76ers, man, it's like Christmas. It's Christmas around here between Jaylen Brown and LeBron. You guys have had a hell of a July, man.
But Barkley wasn't finished, because almost as quickly as he praised the Sixers, he pointed out the one problem that talent alone couldn't solve. For Charles Barkley, the Sixers looked like the most talented team in the Eastern Conference, on paper.
But I do think the Sixers are the team to beat in the Eastern Conference right now.
Even if Joel Embiid ain't healthy for the playoffs, and it's LeBron with Jaylen Brown, Tyrese Maxey, and VJ Edgecombe?
He only has to be the fourth best player.
This is what 41-year-old LeBron James brings to a team that hadn't won a title in decades. With Jaylen Brown, Philly were a solid team, but with LeBron, even Chuck admits they've become the favorites in the East. But Charles Barkley quickly reminds everyone that there's still a lot of work to do. And, according to him, at the heart of that work is a lot of sacrifice.
Don't forget him. They all need to ball. It's going to be very interesting. They got a tremendous amount of talent. They're probably going to be favored in the East. But, man, it's going to be a lot of sacrificing because, like I say, they all need to ball to be successful. It's going to have – Pat Riley has a phrase called voluntary cooperation.
That Pat Riley phrase explains what every successful super team in NBA history needs to do. When LeBron, Dwayne Wade, and Chris Bosh first came together in Miami, they didn't dominate overnight. They had to figure out whose turn it was to attack, who would sacrifice touches, and how to win without worrying about individual numbers. The same thing happened in Golden State when Kevin Durant joined Stephen Curry. Everyone had to give something up, and now Philadelphia faces that same challenge. However, Chuck believes the biggest adjustments belong to LeBron himself.
Well, I think he's going to be more of a role player because, let's be honest, Maxey and Brown are better players at this stage of their career. So he's going to have to be a role player because Maxey and Brown are the two best players on the team. And if Joel is healthy, he's probably the third best player on the team.
Even at 41, LeBron James remains one of the NBA's primary playmakers, finishing last season averaging more than 7 assists per game. So, according to Charles Barkley, LeBron needs to settle into his role as a role player just as everyone else needs to adjust.
And it's going to be interesting, though. It's not going to be as easy as people think it is because you got you got 4 guys who all need the ball. So there's going to be a basketball adjustment.
You know, every player Philadelphia just brought together has spent years being the focal point of an offense. To win, they have to adjust to their new reality, not the reality of last season. Like seriously, last season, Maxey averaged over 95 touches every game. LeBron was above 70. Embiid was right behind him. Jaylen Brown wasn't far off either. Even rookie VJ Edgecombe handled the ball enough to rank among the league leaders. Now individually, that's a strength, but together, it's going to be a challenge. However, it's not the only challenge Charles Barkley sees for next season's 76ers. And if you know Charles Barkley, you'll know that for him, the biggest skill in a player is availability.
But the main thing, can LeBron and Joel stay healthy? Number one is how many basketballs there are, but can Joel and LeBron stay healthy? I think that's a second and third question going to need to be answered. Because LeBron hasn't played a full season in probably 5 years, and Joel hasn't played longer than that. So it looks great on paper, but health is going to be the most important aspect of the Sixers season.
That's a problem Philadelphia simply can't control. But let's shift gears a bit and look on the bright side. What if everything goes right for Philly and they show up on the court looking as good as they look on paper? What if LeBron wins another title? What then does Sir Charles think of his legacy? First off, Charles Barkley has had one criticism of LeBron that never changed.
But the number one knock on LeBron for older guys like myself has always been, yo, man, you always stacking your team. He stacked it in Miami. He stacked it in Cleveland. He stacked it in LA. Now he's stacking it in Philly. So that, to me, I'm going to still have the same criticism I've always had.
Whether fans agree with him or not, you have to admit one thing. He's been consistent on that. And that consistency is important because it makes Barkley's excitement over Philadelphia even more interesting. In fact, Barkley believes the opportunity in front of LeBron is unlike anything he's had before. Because if the 76ers win the title, King James would become the first player to lead 4 different organizations to NBA championships. That alone would be historic, but Barkley still isn't ready to call him the greatest player he's ever seen. Not yet. Instead, he drew a line that almost nobody expected.
If he wins back-to-back championships and walk away this thing at 44-45, I'll say something I ain't never said before. I think I just saw the greatest basketball player ever.
If LeBron James wins not 1, but 2 titles, back-to-back titles, he's the GOAT.
I can live with that.
This is coming from someone who spent years pushing back against LeBron in the GOAT conversation. Right now, Chuck has LeBron 3rd on his all-time list. But regardless of the super team accusations, if LeBron wins 2 more, even Sir Charles is ready to put LeBron over Michael Jordan. And that's what makes this upcoming season so fascinating. Philly isn't just trying to break their own jinx like New York, but LeBron is chasing one accomplishment that could force even one of his biggest critics to completely rethink basketball history. And like Philly legend and all-time great Allen Iverson said,
definitely championship or bust, man. I mean, that's the added piece, you know what I mean, that we needed. Obviously, you put him on any team, to me.
Interestingly, if the 76ers can get their act together and win, then that'll make them different from the super teams we've had since the Warriors dynasty. They would have succeeded where the Clippers, the Brooklyn Nets, and Houston Rockets failed. But there's a long way to go, and Charles Barkley has identified all the challenges they'll have to overcome along the way. Can 4 stars sacrifice enough to make it work? Can Joel Embiid and LeBron James stay healthy when it matters most? Let us know your thoughts in the comments. And if you enjoyed this, then watch what Charles Barkley got right about Jalen Brunson next.